Second chapter in the story of Nathan Walker. Please subscribe to be updated on sequels to this story and leave a like and comment to help spread this channel to other sci-fi fans. Chapter 2. As Nathan drew closer, the acrid smell of ozone from the blaster fire mixed with the metallic tang of blood assaulted his nostrils. The woman's sobs grew louder, and Nathan's gut twisted as he realized something was terribly wrong. "No," he breathed, his eyes widening as he took in the scene before him. The little blue-skinned girl lay motionless, her small body curled protectively around her dragon-like pet. A charred hole in her back told the grim story of a stray shot that had found an unintended target. "No!" Nathan spat, his triumph evaporating like morning dew under a harsh sun. He ran a hand through his sweat-soaked hair, leaving streaks of blood and grime. The mother's anguished wails pierced the eerie silence that had settled over the town. Nathan's mind drifted, memories of the past threatening to overwhelm him. "Not again," he thought, clenching his fists. "I'm sorry," he managed, his voice barely above a whisper. "I tried to. I didn't mean for—" The words felt hollow, inadequate in the face of such loss. Nathan's eyes burned, not just from the dust and smoke, but from unused tears he refused to let fall. He'd seen death before, dealt it out himself. But this was different. As he reached out to help the mother up, Nathan's gaze fell on the trembling pet dragon. Its scales shimmered with an iridescent sheen, a stark contrast to the bleakness surrounding them. In that moment, Nathan made a silent vow. He couldn't bring the girl back, but he'd be damned if he'd let her sacrifice be in vain. "Come on," he urged, his voice rough with emotion. "We'll take the little dragon with us. It's what she would have wanted." The shovel bit into the hard-packed earth with a dull thud. Nathan grunted, muscles straining as he dug deeper into the alien soil. Beside him, Lazure's blue-skinned hands trembled as she scattered handfuls of dirt over her daughter's shrouded body. "May the stars guide your journey, little one," Lazure keened, her musical voice cracking. "May you find peace in the eternal cosmic dance." Nathan's jaw clenched as he watched Lazure's grief. He'd seen too much death in his years as a soldier, but bearing a child never got easier. As he shoveled the last mounds of dirt over the small grave, he started feeling a pang of guilt. He had brought them here. The child's blood was on his hands. He turned to Lazure, her yellow eyes glistening with tears. "I have been fighting for the wrong people for many years, and now you daughter is dead because of me," Nathan said softly. Lazure's head turned towards him. "You stopped them? Why?" "They were going to kill your daughter. They did not know right from wrong," he said and continued. "I've been fighting the wrong fights too long. This time I had to take a stand for the right thing." Over the next days, Lazure had explained the situation to the town elders. They understood. Many of them could remember what it was like before the warlords and their mercenaries had arrived to charge them protection money. They knew what a free life could be. So they told the other Zalindi to join a militia trained by Nathan. It was mostly youngsters who joined. The others were out in the fields harvesting the crops. But Nathan did not hold back. He pushed them to their limits. The youngsters groaned and cursed as he drilled them relentlessly in military discipline. "Again!" Nathan barked as a lanky Zalindi youth stumbled through a defensive stance. "The warlords won't give you a second chance. Neither will I." Sweat beaded on blue skin as the Zalindi repeated the moves, determination etched on their faces. Nathan nodded approvingly. They were learning fast, their innate grace lending itself well to the fluid movements of close combat. As the group sparred, Nathan's gaze drifted to Lazure. She moved with a ferocious intensity, her eyes blazing as she took down opponent after opponent. "Wow," Nathan thought, "that woman's got a fire. She wants revenge." That night, as the moons cast an eerie glow over the village, Nathan sat alone, cleaning his pulse rifle. His weathered hands moved automatically over the familiar weapon as his mind churned. Was he doing the right thing? These people weren't soldiers. He might lead them into a bloodbath. But then he remembered the small grave they dug, the countless other victims of the warlord's brutality. His hands tightened on the rifle. It was time to take a stand. Win or lose, at least they go down fighting. A rustle of wings broke Nathan's reverie. The pet dragon that Nathan Unimaginative had named Draco alighted on the roof rafter above him, its scales shimmering in the moonlight. The creature cocked its head, regarding Nathan with intelligent eyes. "Hey there, little guy," Nathan murmured, reaching up to scratch under Draco's chin. The dragon trilled softly, leaning into his touch. Footsteps approached and Lazur emerged from the shadows. Her yellow eyes glowed in the darkness, fixed on Nathan with an intensity that made his breath catch. "You trained them well, Walker. More will follow soon when the harvest has been collected," she said, her musical voice tinged with grudging respect. "Perhaps I misjudged you." Nathan shrugged, his scarred hands still working the rifle. "Just doing what needs to be done to make them ready." Lazur settled beside him, her blue skin luminescent in the dim light. "Tell me, why do you fight for us?" Nathan paused, considering. "Maybe I'm tired of running. Maybe I've seen too much injustice to walk away this time." He met her gaze. "Or maybe I'm just a fool with a death wish." A smile tugged at Lazur's lips. "Perhaps all three, Walker." They lapsed into silence, the weight of shared grief and determination hanging between them. The sun beat down mercilessly on the makeshift training ground, a cleared patch of earth surrounded by the lush green fields of the Zalindi's farmland. Nathan Walker, his weathered face glistening with sweat, paced before the assembled militia. Their blue skin shimmered in the light, yellow eyes fixed on him with a mix of curiosity and determination. "Listen up," Nathan barked, his voice carrying across the field. "You want to protect your farms, your families? Then you better pay attention." He gestured to the assortment of weapons laid out before them, a mishmash of Zalindi farming tools and whatever weapons he had gathered from the slain mercenaries and from his ship. There were blasters and communicating devices, and even some of the trowing darts the Zalindi used for hunting the local six-legged boar-like animal. Nathan's mind raced, considering how to best utilize their natural strength and agility against the mercenaries' superior firepower. "Teamwork and discipline," he continued, picking up a makeshift spear. "That's what's going to keep you alive when they come, because others will be back." Nathan demonstrated a series of combat moves, his aging but still muscular body moving with practiced efficiency. The Zalindi watched, some with open mouths, others with narrowed eyes of concentration. "Now pair up and show me what you've got," Nathan ordered, stepping back to observe. As the Zalindi began to spar, Nathan's gaze was drawn to Lazur. Her movements were fluid, almost graceful, as she dodged her partner's attacks and countered with precision. Nathan felt a twinge of admiration, quickly squashed by the memory of her daughter's death. "Not bad, Lazur," he called out, approaching her, "but you're telegraphing your moves. Try this." Nathan demonstrated a feint, followed by a swift strike. Lazur's yellow eyes gleamed with understanding. "Like the wind that whispers, before the storm strikes," she replied, her musical voice carrying the hint of a smirk. "Yeah, something like that," Nathan grunted, suppressing a smile. As the training progressed, Nathan's mind wandered to the challenges ahead. These farmers were improving, sure, but would it be enough against hardened mercenaries? "All right, listen up," Nathan shouted, bringing the sparring to a halt. "Time to put your skills to the test. We're going to have ourselves a little mock battle called Capture the Flag." He divided the militia into two groups, assigning objectives and laying out the rules of engagement. Each group was given communication devices and shown how to use them. As the Zalindi took their positions, Nathan couldn't help but feel a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they had a chance. "Begin!" he yelled, and chaos erupted across the training ground. Lazur led her team with surprising tactical acumen, using the terrain to her advantage. Nathan watched her closely, impressed by her ability to adapt and lead. As the mock battle raged on, Nathan's mind raced with possibilities. They were far from ready, but with more training, more discipline. He shook his head, pushing away thoughts of the future. "One day at a time, Walker. One day at a time." Nathan's eyes narrowed as he watched the Zalindi militia dart between the lush green foliage of their makeshift training ground. The smell of rich soil and crushed vegetation filled the air, a stark contrast to the gritty lessons he was imparting. The next day, Nathan had brought his dog Razor to the training ground. "Today we will fight in the jungle," he said. "It's time to learn how to fight dirty." Guerrilla warfare isn't about standing your ground. It's about hitting hard and vanishing like a fart in the wind. First rule, use your environment. This isn't some sterile battlefield. It's your home. Every tree, every rock, every blade of grass is a potential weapon or hiding spot. Nathan demonstrated, effortlessly blending into the underbrush before reappearing behind a startled Zalindi. See? Now you try. As the militia practiced, Nathan's thoughts drifted. These peaceful farmers were becoming warriors under his guidance. Later, when Nathan went back to his ship to cover it up, so orbital ships would not detect it, his communication array had peeped. Looking at the caller ID, it was one Nathan recognized. It was Kaz. Good to know I still have friends, he thought. However, when he played the message Kaz had left, his pulse quickened. Walker, he heard. Bloodbrood is furious. You have cost him a lot. 2 teams have departed for Zalindi. They're coming for you and anyone who stands with you. Shit, Nathan muttered. The massage log said it was 3 hours old. He had just under 48 hours to prepare. Nathan sat down to gather his thoughts. The warlords were no fools. He would not risk sending ground troops down first after the last failure to kill Nathan. He would bombard the village first, maybe even destroy it completely as a warning to the other villages on the continent. Then the mercenaries would come down to kill and make sure Nathan was dead. Maybe they would leave a few alive so they could tell other villages. Spreading fear worked in the warlords' favor. We will have to hide, at least when they first arrive, Nathan thought to himself. He hurried back to the small town to gather the town leaders and the elders, and of course Lazur. He had begun to regard her as his right hand. I have some serious news. Your tormentors will be coming back soon, and this time there will be more. And they will not land first. They will bombard from the sky. Maybe even destroy this town completely before sending down mercenaries to mop up. To kill survivors? Lazur stepped up beside him, her face set with grim determination. Do you have a plan, Nathan? Nathan's eyes narrowed into a hard, determined gaze. We fight strategically, we go all out, and we use every resource at our disposal. He paused, deep in thought, before continuing. I could try to negotiate with the Earth Alliance to protect your skies. But be warned, they will most likely want to establish an embassy and trading posts in return. They are always interested in trading agreements, especially for food produce. His eyes swept across the group gathered around him, taking in their various skills and abilities. And from what I've seen, some of you have the potential to join the Alliance Navy. That's how I got my start as a fighter, serving on one of their ships. His voice held a hint of pride and nostalgia as he spoke of his past experiences. The Zalindi elders exchanged knowing looks, their gazes heavy with unspoken words. Finally, one of them turned to Nathan and spoke. This is a weighty decision, one that will require us to consult with our fellow elders. We will have an answer for you by tomorrow morning. Will this be enough time? I believe so. Nathan nodded, though he couldn't help but feel a twinge of impatience. But we must act quickly. We only have 45 hours before they arrive. With determination in their eyes, the elders declared, We will send a message immediately. Nathan glanced at Lazur, confusion evident on his face. What do they mean by send a message? He asked. Lazur smiled knowingly and explained, The elders possess birds who are trained to carry messages to other elders in distant places. Shocked, Nathan exclaimed, Carrier pigeons? You never cease to surprise me. Then he faced Lazur and the other fighters to lay out his plan. This town will be bombarded from the air, and I cannot fight them with my ship. It does not have enough firepower. This means all the residents must find shelter in the forest. The non-combatants must move now so they can get as far away as possible. The Zalindi looked at each other frightened. It is possible that the Earth Alliance will help us, but even if they agree, they might not be here in time, Nathan continued. Can we stay in our caves? Lazur said, pointing up the hill. Nathan looked up surprised. What caves? How many can they hold? They are big enough for the whole town. We use them for winter storage of the crops. Nathan thought quickly. Can they be defended? Yes, Lazur answered. We have guards at both entrances. A cave with 2 entrances, Nathan thought to himself. That is perfect. Okay, a new plan. Everybody move up to caves. They have to bring as many belongings as they can carry. How about our houses? One Zalindi asked. Nathan looked directly into his yellow eyes. Houses can be rebuilt. The dead cannot be realived. And this is my job now to keep you all alive. Lazur chimed in. He is right. We move to the cave. The Zalindi Ficthers called for a meeting and explained the situation to the townspeople. They looked scared, but understood the reason and started to their most important belongings up to the cave. Nathan's brain started to race ahead. His military training started to kick in. When they come down to clean up after the bombardment and find no bodies, they will realize where we went. They will find the trail. Lazur now looked worried. But then Nathan said, that means we know what route they will take. They will follow us. That means we can prepare. And also we will have the high ground. He turned to all the Zalindi Ficthers. You will have to make traps outside the path leading from the town to the cave, and I will need a few scouts that are quick and nimble. If we are up by the caves, we will need to know exactly where the mercenaries are, and if they are splitting up or staying together. And the scouts needs to use the comms. Nathan was interrupted by a bird whistling. He turned around. Another whistle to his left. Then he turned towards Lazur. What the? She whistled. Several high notes followed by a low staccato sound. We do not need your comms. When we hunt, this is how we communicate. Nathan was taken aback, halfway mumbling to himself, I think the Terran military would be happy to recruit you guys as scouts. But loudly he said, okay, well I will need an interpreter. I do not speak bird. Lazur smiled at him. And that will be my job. Some of the younger Zalindi volunteered to be lookouts, and started to look through the thick undergrowth for strategic places close to the path to hide. While the older Zalindi was carrying their things up to the caves, the fighters was tasked with making traps. Many holes were dug, spears were sharpened under Nathan's guidance. In his younger days, Nathan had been fascinated by an old conflict on Earth. He had found it fascinating how a group of less trained people had fought of professional soldiers with cleverly designed traps. As they moved to prepare their defenses, Nathan couldn't shake the feeling of impending disaster. But as he caught Lazur's eye, he saw a fierce resolve. Maybe, just maybe, they had a chance. The night air crackled with tension as Nathan crouched behind a makeshift barricade, his weathered hands gripping his blaster. The Zalindi town, usually alive with the soft glow of hearth fires, was now shrouded in an eerie darkness. Nathan's eyes, hardened by years of combat, scanned the perimeter. Suddenly, a series of muffled explosions ripped through the silence. Flashes of light illuminated the night sky as mercenary ships descended upon the town. Fuck me sideways, Nathan muttered. He keyed his comm. All units, this is Walker. They're here. Remember your training and stay alive, you hear me? A chorus of affirmatives whistles rose from the forest. Nathan allowed himself a grim smile. These farmers had come a long way. The first wave of mercenaries hit like a tsunami of plasma fire and shrapnel. Nathan popped up from cover, his blaster spitting death with practiced precision, dropping 2 of them with consecutive headshots. Beside him, Lazur unleashed a barrage from her makeshift cannon, her face a mask of fierce concentration. Nathan, she shouted over the din, on your left. He spun, catching a mercenary trying to flank them. The attacker's chest exploded in a spray of gore as Nathan's shot found its mark. Thanks, he grunted. You're getting good at this. Lazur's reply was cut short by a nearby explosion that showered them with debris. Nathan's mind raced. The mercs had the advantage in firepower and numbers, but they were fighting on unfamiliar terrain, as if reading his thoughts a familiar bark cut through the chaos. Razor, his loyal companion, came bounding through the smoke. What is it, girl? Nathan asked, his voice tense. Razor's ears perked up, her nose twitching. She turned and growled towards a seemingly empty patch of undergrowth. Sneaky bastards, Nathan muttered. Lazur, you have to warn them. The enemy is cloaked. A few sharp whistles followed by a drawn-out tone pierced the chaos of battle. As if on cue, the air shimmered and 3 mercenaries materialized from the dark. The Zalindi militia, forewarned, cut them down in a hail of darts and a few blaster shots. Nathan could not see too well, but it seemed like the Zalindi was aiming straight at the eyes. Nathan allowed himself a moment of pride. His ragtag militia was holding their own, their guerrilla tactics paying off against the Merc's superior tech. We might actually pull this off, he thought before shaking his head. Don't get cocky, Walker. That's how you end up dead. As the battle raged on, Nathan felt a familiar surge of adrenaline. For better or worse, this was what he was made for. And as he looked at the determined faces of the Zalindi fighters around him, he knew they were made for it too.